Picture this: you finish something you've been working toward for a while, a project, a goal, even just a long day. And instead of that quiet sense of arrival, there's a subtle drift. Almost like your system is still leaning forward, already scanning for the next thing to move toward. You don't think of it as pressure, it's just how life has felt for a long time: movement, momentum, staying in motion. And if you slow down, even a little, it's like the energy disappears. That's the part I want to look at today. There are seasons in life where being in motion becomes the default setting, where the sense of moving toward something feels more alive than actually being in it. Not the moment where the thing is reached, not the exhale after completion, but the stretch, the effort, the leaning forward. You might recognize this in the way your attention feels sharper when there's something specific to pursue: a deadline, a target, a plan, a picture of what could be different if you just keep going. And the nervous system learns that this is where aliveness lives, in momentum. So when that momentum pauses, even briefly, the internal sensation can flatten. Not necessarily numb, just blank. Like the energy that was here a moment ago stepped out of the room. It's not that the success didn't matter or that the goal was the wrong one. The emotional experience of arrival just hasn't been trained. The system only knows how to feel something while closing distance. This is a trained pattern, not a personality trait. This is the state being reinforced. Someone in this pattern rarely describes themselves as dissatisfied. They usually describe themselves as not quite there yet. There's a sense of potential that hasn't been fulfilled. Not because something is missing, but because the internal picture of what enough looks like keeps shifting. You may notice this when something you once wanted becomes normal almost immediately. The raise you once cared deeply about becomes standard. The relationship that once felt extraordinary becomes familiar. The physical change that once felt inspiring becomes the new baseline to improve from. And so the mind says, I know there's more. I'm close. I just need to keep going. But there's no moment of landing, because landing isn't the state being practiced. The body knows motion. The mind knows motion. Emotion gets tied to progression, not presence. It's not that these accomplishments hold no meaning. It's that the emotional experience of already being here has never been rehearsed. This is the state being reinforced. We tend to assume that certain outcomes will create a certain feeling, that achieving the thing will finally let the nervous system relax, that finishing the project will create ease, that reaching the milestone will create fulfillment, that losing the weight will create confidence. But the nervous system doesn't work that way. Whatever emotional state is practiced during the pursuit is the one that remains afterward. If urgency fueled the effort, urgency stays. If pressure was the internal driver, pressure stays. If the body braced to move forward, the body will keep bracing even after the goal is reached. The result doesn't create the feeling, the repetition does. So if the nervous system has never practiced what being here feels like, then being here will feel unfamiliar, empty, flat, or like something is missing. Not because you can't feel, but because you haven't trained this state yet. Fulfillment isn't something that happens to you. Fulfillment is something the system learns through repetition. This is the state being reinforced. This usually shows up in the quiet parts of your day, late at night when the work is done, or when you're driving home and the radio's off, or when you walk into your home and everything is still. There's no chaos, no failure, no crisis. Just a sense that you're moving through life without actually being inside it. that you're close to something, but not quite touching it. Most people don't speak this out loud. There's no language for it yet, but the body knows the difference. And this is where the shift begins, not through effort, but through awareness of that exact internal moment. This is the state being reinforced. The common assumption is that to retrain this pattern, you need to reduce how much you do, slow down, detach from ambition, lower the intensity of your goals. But none of that is needed. You don't need to want less. You don't need to shrink your life. You don't need to back away from what matters to you. The shift begins right before effort begins. There's a small internal moment where the body prepares to move. It chooses the emotional state that will fuel the pursuit. For many people, that state is tension or urgency because that's what's familiar. The training is simply to choose a different internal state at the entry point. Not all day, not through the whole task, just the first breath, the first step. Because the beginning sets the tone. This is where the nervous system learns something new. This is the state being reinforced. If this is landing, you're welcome to subscribe. I share videos each week on training the inner state in real time. Okay, let's keep going. You may notice this in work. You finish something meaningful, and instead of space, there's already a new target forming. The jump to the next pursuit is automatic. There's no moment of inhabiting what you just created. You may notice this in partnership or friendship. Someone can be right beside you, caring, present, connected, yet there's a subtle distance in your body, like you're observing the experience instead of being in it. Not because you don't want closeness, but because closeness doesn't register as alive in the same way the pursuit does. You may notice this in physical training. You reach the goal, you see the change, and almost instantly your mind recalibrates to a new standard. There's no point of arrival, only the next phase. In all of these places, life is being lived towards something, not in something. This is the state being reinforced. If you're recognizing yourself here, there's nothing wrong. This is simply a pattern that has been practiced over time. And patterns can be retrained gently, steadily through repetition. Capacity expands not by thinking differently, but by practicing a different internal state while doing the same life. Practice noticing the moment before effort. Practice selecting a slightly softer state there, even for one breath. You're teaching the body that aliveness can exist here, not just in the chase. Over time, that becomes the new familiar. This is the state being reinforced. And so, before we end, take a moment. No need to figure anything out. Just notice what rises. What emotional state are you practicing most often without realizing it? And if you'd like a structured way to train a more steady and reliable inner state while you pursue what matters, I teach that inside the Inner Foundation Method. It's a way of practicing how you show up on the inside, not just what you work toward. You'll find it below. If you'd rather stay connected week to week, there's a newsletter where I share ongoing reflections and practice. You'll see the sign up below. And if day-to-day reminders are supportive, I share those on Instagram at Mike Wong Coaching. There's something meaningful about seeing where motion has been the only place that feels alive. Being able to notice that without trying to fix it is its own beginning. Glad you were here. I'll see you in the next one.